Thank you very much. That was Beyond the Challenge, and hopefully tonight we're going to go beyond the challenge and get past this rain. So we're going to move right along to Charles Ives, Omega Lambda Chi. It's supposed to sound like a march for like a fraternity. Only there wasn't a fraternity called Omega Lambda Chi. Ives had a funny sense of humor. And he would write notes that, that was kind of a funny note there. So you may hear a couple of those. That's what's written. So this is a lot of fun, especially for musicians, because it's like if you want to really nerd out on a piece of music, this would be the one to do it. So this is Charles Ives, March Omega Lambda Chi. Thank you very much. The next tune we have here is from a very contemporary composer who is actually alive to this day. This is from composer David Holsinger, who teaches, where is it, Jessica? Lee University, yes. I know somebody in the band who was actually taught by this brilliant man. Who was taught by him, Jessica? It was Jessica! He's taught by this most excellent composer who has composed some of the most beautiful pieces for wind band that could ever be played, especially in a setting like this. So, let me tell you a bit about the piece. Not too much, you can hear it. When peace like a river, attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows. So, you see where we're going with this. I think this is going to be a very familiar tune. It's very much and very close to the heart. So listen very closely to the moving parts and the beautiful intonation that this band displays with a hymn song, A Fill of Grace by David Wilson. How about that French horn over here? That was Jessica Wise over there. And clarinets, that was absolutely delicious.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness, look at this. Let's give these guys a hand. We're really blessed here in Fairfield to have musicians like this who are not only so talented and so skilled and love the music so much that they are willing to show up at 7 o'clock at night and rehearse for an hour and a half to put on this concert each week for you guys. They love it, and I hope you do too. Well, it wouldn't be a bandy band concert if we didn't do a John Phillips Sousa tune at the end. So we're going to end tonight's concert with John Phillips Sousa Semper Fidelis. But first, I think we have an anniversary in the building. Is that true? Yeah? Oh, that is awesome. So I got Walt and Carolyn Richardson.
How about that, Walt?
60th anniversary tonight? Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, congratulations, guys. That's great. And I'm glad you decided to spend it here with us. So we have one last tune for you tonight. This is Semper Fidelis. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Everybody take your chair back to the bench.